What is up, everybody? We are getting ready for the Assassin's Creed Celebration live stream. I will turn the media down just a smidge because it's a little loud in my headphones as well. But we are live. We got 24 minutes until stream time, so just gonna chit chat. Hopefully everybody is doing well who comes to this. I'm going to try to catch this one and then catch the Xbox one. But if this one is still going close to 12, I will have to hop over to Xbox in a good amount of time. So hopefully we get to see all the cool stuff before the Xbox one starts, but if not, I will come back and give my reaction to what we missed. It probably won't be live at that point, but I'll give my reaction to what we missed and all that. But we shouldn't miss anything in Xbox. But like I said, I'm going to try to catch both of these, and we will go from there. Oh, no one caught the Pandom, the Pokemon in chat. It escaped. 20 minutes, guys. 20 minutes. What is up, everybody? We got the countdown going here, so I would rather use this one than mine. But we got the celebration about to start. Like I said, we'll have to keep an eye out. If we get close to 12, I will switch over to the Xbox showcase. But we are good and ready to go. Four minutes, guys. 4 minutes. Let's see what type of news we get. One minute, guys. 1 minute. Alright, guys. 10 seconds. Well, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Assassin's Creed, everybody.
Assassin's Creed is all about giving players the thrill of leaping into history and reliving pivotal moments of our past. It has already been 15 years since Altair and the first Assassin's Creed game welcomed you to the Brotherhood in 2007. Today marks the beginning of our celebrations. For the months to come, we prepared surprises, unexpected collaborations, rewards, community activities, and more. We want to celebrate our 15th anniversary with you and all the people that share their passion for our franchise. Whether you want to relive your first Assassin's Creed memories get involved in the celebrations, or learn more about the future of the brand, we'll get you covered in the months to come. Exciting news about Assassin's Creed starts now, with an update on what's to come in Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Launching Assassin's Creed Valhalla and expanding upon its story and gameplay throughout the first year has been an incredible adventure. After 2 story expansions that saw Ivor battle against a druidic cult in Ireland, and then throw themselves into the Siege of Paris and war-torn Francia, we dove into Norse mythology with our ambitious 3rd expansion, Dawn of Ragnarok. With Assassin's Creed crossover stories, we even brought back a surprise visitor from the past, who joined up with Ivor to fight a mysterious curse in the Isle of Skye.
I'm glad you invited me here tonight.
On top of this narrative content, since launch, we've added several free game modes and activities to the world of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, for the first time in the franchise, we're offering a 2nd year of free post-launch content with our returning festivals, Mastery Challenge Pack 2, an Armory update, and new tombs to explore this fall to close the mystery behind Tombs of the Fallen. But that's not all. This summer, we're offering a unique take on Assassin's Creed gameplay. It is my pleasure to present the first look at our latest and most ambitious game mode, The Forgotten Saga, which will be free to all Assassin's Creed Valhalla players.
Wow.
You do well to hide behind your monsters, daughter of Loki.
So, you're going back to Niflheim?
As many times as it takes. It is time to go to hell. Each time you cast me out will only make me stronger.
Nice.
We're excited for you to experience this summer a new roguelite-inspired journey into Niflheim, the spectacular realm of the dead. And stay tuned until the end of the year for one last surprise. We will reveal the last episode of Ivor's story as a free chapter for all players as well.
So we got one more expansion coming as well.
In Assassin's Creed, history has always been our playground,
And we're getting the
Discover
Discover
Tour is the
Tour.
ideal game mode to discover and learn, with content free of violence and tailored for learning. It is perfectly suitable for all audiences, including schools. For the Assassin's Creed Valhalla team, immersing players in the long-gone world of the Vikings and the Saxons has been a driving passion. Encouraged by feedback from teachers and students, we are proud to take a new step in facilitating access to learning by releasing today a standalone version of Discovery Tour Viking Age for Xbox and PlayStation consoles, as well as Stadia and Luna streaming platforms. We're also honored to be partnering with McGill University in Canada to develop curriculum guides for teachers and students available online for free to help them make the most of Discovery Tour Ancient Egypt, Ancient Greece, and Viking Age as learning tools for the classroom.
Nice.
We want to celebrate our 15th anniversary with you by releasing a free title update that our community has been passionately asking for. 60 frames per second support for Assassin's Creed Origins is now available. Experience Ancient Egypt under the reign of Cleopatra, now in 60 FPS on Xbox and PlayStation next-gen consoles. To celebrate with all of our players, we will be hosting a free weekend for Assassin's Creed Origins from June 16th to June 20th. The beautiful world of ancient Egypt is a great place to start revisiting and celebrating past Assassin's Creed games. Our 15th anniversary is about rewarding you for your incredible support. To get started, several sets of Assassin's Creed Origins tattoos, along with a naval pack, will be available this week in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Right now, head to our anniversary website and learn more on how to get involved with the celebrations. Take part in our weekly challenges for a chance to earn prizes and share your favorite Assassin's Creed memories by using hashtag AC15 as we leap into history. Join us this September as we unveil the future of Assassin's Creed during a very special event. We can't wait to show you what's in store.
we gotta wait till September for to see the new game.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Assassin's Creed 15th anniversary celebration event. My name is Yusuf. I'll be one of your hosts today. I'm joined by my co-host, Chassie Vicencio. Chassie, how are you today?
Hey, I'm excited. That was very exciting stuff. So I'm happy to be here to celebrate Assassin's Creed with all of you. And we have a special guest, Yusuf.
Oh, yes, we do. We are joined by Assassin's Creed producer, Jose Ariza. Jose, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is exciting and thrilling all at once.
Yes, we are very happy to be showcasing all the news and announcements that y'all just saw. But we're also going to be hanging out with y'all for a little bit right now and showing off the Assassin's Creed Origins 60 frames per second boost. We're playing it right now. As you can see, I am riding on the back of my camel on the way to Alexandria. Jose, this game was already beautiful, silky smooth. The 60 frames per second boost just makes it doubly more so. It feels so good to play.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting. I just reloaded it into my console. I started playing it again, and it's amazing just seeing it sort of refreshed and I don't know. There's a certain elegance to it. The desert, the grandiosity of it. It's pretty awesome to see it in 60 frames and see how beautiful it looks.
Yeah, I agree. And like honestly, I haven't been back to Egypt, in quite some time now. I think it's been about like 2 years since I've played Origins, and it just feels so good to be back. I started a new game plus here. You can see I'm already level 55.
Yeah, you've already
awesome.
played plenty of this game, so now you're jumping back into New Game Plus.
Yes, exactly.
As one does. Yeah, but it looks beautiful. Jose, so let's celebrate this game, celebrate Assassin's Creed. So yeah, Origins. Tell us about your role on this game. You were producer.
God, that feels like a lifetime ago. So at that point, I believe I was associate producer, and I was in charge of basically being the liaison with all other Codip studios. It was a massive production, and it was my pleasure to be able to work with all the studios that were participating. Sofia, Singapore, Bucharest. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Sorry, but it's been it's been quite a while, and it was amazing being part of this production. It was also officially my first full Assassin's Creed production, as I had just joined the studio, and it was amazing, being part of this entire production with so many awesome, talented people, passionate people. It was also a really interesting time of the franchise, obviously re-envisioning what Assassin's Creed would be for the future. So it was thrilling and nerve-wracking to say the least.
I imagine there must have
Absolutely.
been a lot of excitement and maybe internal pressure that you were feeling of bringing the game back, the brand back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Assassin's Creed is beloved by players around the world, right? And there's a certain expectation of what the brand is, what the brand, the tenets, the pillars of the brand. It was really fascinating trying to find out how do we bring Assassin's Creed into an open world? How do we give agency to the players of how they play it, how they consume, and there were so many changes. It's funny watching it right now. It feels like, yeah, of course, this is exactly how it should have been. For the player perspective, maybe, this feels like, yes, of course. Why would it be anything other than this? But when you're on the other side of, pre-production, production, asking all those questions of, what is the DNA of the brand? What is really Assassin's Creed? The areas where we could experiment or not, or evolve the brand and certain things that we absolutely wanted to keep. So yeah, it was fascinating. It was preserving the DNA while evolving at the same time.
Speaking that as long as you talk about DNA, my favorite thing and the one thing to me that I never get tired of in Assassin's Creed is these sync points. And so as long as these are here, I'm always going to be a happy camper. It's just one of my favorite things. I never get tired of them, even after doing them, in across every AC, so many times. It's, to me, nothing showcases what the verticality, the
Yeah.
beauty of AC like those.
Yeah, even that's a perfect point, right? People assume that sync points are always there. They're a given. They're hit the easy button and it's done. But even within the context of Egypt, right? Like saying, how do we want the camera to move? Oh my God, now we're in a massive open world and you can see very far into the background. Making sure that it was the right camera movement, the right speed, all these little things that players don't see. We had to like reassess under this, open world scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
I
And
sort
by
of
the way,
say that.
Sorry,
What's
go
that?
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna say, by the way, I noticed that my camera is really bright. This is obviously to be dealing with the
You're
desert.
bathed in light.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in the desert.
He's coming to us live from Alexandria. That's
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Also, yes, we are live. We can see the chat, so if you have any questions about AC Origins for Jose, drop them in the chat and we'll ask them. So yes, we do see you, and Yusuf is playing in real time right now, so that is happening. We
Oh, I
are
sure
playing this AC Origins in 60 FPS on PS5. It's also available on Xbox Series X and S, so you can jump into that. And if you missed that video earlier, there's a free weekend coming for AC Origins, June 16th to the 20th. So if you haven't played or want to jump back in, go for it on Xbox and PlayStation next-gen consoles and play 60 FPS. But yeah, we are live, so if you have questions, please let us know in the chat. But Jose, I'll start with a question for you. So I saw an internal interview with you at Ubisoft, and you said your best memory was working here was E3 2017, and you said getting AC Origins into people's hands for the first time. So can you tell me more about that and what that moment was like?
Yeah. Oof. Let me see
This
if
is
I can
beautiful,
vocalize.
guys.
You know, the production had already been going, I think, for 3 years at a time, and everybody was working really hard to re-envision, to move the brand, to evolve the brand into this new open world. There's a lot of changes that went into this. We went from a mission-driven system to a quest-driven system that you could consume however you wanted. There were so many changes that went into this, and obviously, the people that work in the brand love the brand, they love Assassin's Creed, and is sort of doing this meditation of everything we wanted to bring into Origins. And obviously, every choice we made was because we really truly felt, every director, every producer, everybody in the team that really felt that was the right choice, the right thing to do. But nobody had seen it. So for me specifically, being part of that E3, doing the private demos, there was this moment of exhilaration that you're happy to share what the team has been working on, and especially for me, I was thrilled to be able to be on the floor, to give the demos, to represent the team and the directors and everybody, and it's a huge honor to be part of the brand and to represent everybody's hard work and talent. But on the other hand, it was nerve-wracking.
Of
Nobody had
course, I
seen
can
it.
only
Nobody
imagine.
knew what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, yeah. And you give the controller to a player. A lot of them are media. A lot of them are streamers, YouTuber, some celebrities even. We're in LA
Mm-hmm.
at E3, and there's this moment that you're super proud, you're super excited, you want to show it, but also a part of you is saying, "Oh my God, please, please like it." And we hope that that you see what we see. We hope that this really our vision translates and it's able to be understood by people. And those very first demos that I gave, it was phenomenal. That fear, but also you're looking, you give the controller to somebody and you're looking at them and you're like, yeah, no, yeah,
It's like, so are you like just directly looking? Are you kind of looking away, or just like nervous about that? That sounds
Well,
very
in
nerve-wracking.
some
Yeah.
in some cases, some people say, no, no, you drive. I want you to see you play it. You
Yeah,
also get
yeah.
some of the media people that are so stoic, and you're playing, you're explaining, and then their total poker face, just like, and you
Yes.
don't know, like, are you loving it? Are you hating it?
Yeah.
And at the same time, as we progress, giving more demos, uh, I think there was one person that actually said, "You've given me the Assassin's Creed that I never knew I wanted, and it's phenomenal." Uh,
Oh my gosh.
you can probably see me getting a little emotional because it was so amazing just being there and seeing people say, "This is exactly. I didn't know I wanted this, but this is exactly what it should be." Giving the demos also, you noticed all the NPCs. We had the smart, the Meta AI network. Having the same demo or having people play the exact portion of the game, but seeing different results, seeing different enemies, the wildlife. At some point, I saw, I think it was an alligator and a hippo get into a fight, and the guy's like, "Oh, was that supposed to happen?" And I said, "No, honestly, I've never seen that. I don't know what events happened for those two animals to be in that location and fight." But it was super. It was nerve-wracking and it was amazing, and it was such a communal sigh of relief and saying, yes, we did deliver. Yes, people agree with our vision. We still held the pillars of the brand, the DNA, and yeah, it was I think cathartic. It was a very cathartic moment for me, and it was also my first Assassin's Creed production, right? So for me, there was also that element of I'm joining sort of at this time of change, at this nexus of change, and you're thinking, God, please, I hope it goes well. I hope that
That's an exciting time to join, though. Yeah, that sounds like an ideal time to
exciting
join
and also
almost.
yeah, and also terrifying, right?
Sure.
We always do our best work, hoping that everybody will love it, hoping that everybody will be entertained. It's sort of that saying that nobody has an ugly baby, right? So it's that moment where you show people the baby, and you're like, I hope people like the baby.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
I love this scene so much. It's our first introduction to Aya here,
Oh, Aya is great.
and like I think to me, like, it was just so cool seeing a husband and wife that were like in love and had, like, obviously, they are on a quest to avenge the death of their son, but it was like, it was a healthy relationship, and I feel like that's something that's so rare to see in games.
Yeah, and it's amazing also that you get to see the trajectory of from the past to the present, if you want to say to the future, when you meet them again in the Hidden Ones. Uh, and we were so attuned to their relationship that we felt, in the Hidden Ones, we needed to acknowledge, right? They have that moment where we're sort of them saying, you know what, it's okay, we did well.
Yeah.
But seeing that trajectory, and it's funny because it wasn't a big speech, it wasn't melodramatic. It was just a moment where I feel, and I hope that we captured that the journey as a couple, as people, as human beings that they had, and in the end, just saying, you know what, we don't need to give a big speech. We're okay. We're cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually, it's. I'm so happy you bring that up. That is one of my favorite moments in gaming. Period. It's just after Bayek and Aya have been, separated at the end of, the game, and them coming back together and reuniting there for that moment. And there's a shot where their foreheads touch, and like they embrace, and like it fills my heart every time.
It's super nice to hear you say that. I know the narrative team worked really hard to give value to that moment without being giving over exposition of what the player should or should not be feeling, or what Bayek and Aya should be feeling. So it was that subtlety, I think, was represented throughout the game, right? Carrying the spectrum of emotions of Bayek's quest, his motivations, Aya's motivation, the rift between them, all these little things that we want the player to be emotionally connected to.
Right. Yeah, I think it was a
Sorry if
complete
you hear a
success, at
lawnmower,
least,
guys.
for
There's
me. That's
people mowing outside.
Ooh.
Agreed. Very strong story. Just their relationship is just something you don't forget from this series. It's just so well written.
We get the first hidden blade.
Yeah, I'll show it.
Ooh, be careful.
Don't point that at your face.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
I will go to the palace and discover who uses the seal of the snake.
It's funny too, Jose. You were saying earlier, you were talking about showing this game to people for the first time, and them saying, "Oh, this isn't," I didn't realize this is what I wanted, but it's exactly what I wanted. I had a slightly similar but slightly different impression of when Origins was first announced, and when we first got to play it. It was also, at the very beginning of my Ubisoft journey here. But the way I don't think I've actually told you, I happen to be Egyptian. And so Origins is always the game I wanted, but never actually thought I would ever get. And then
you were not the only one.
Yeah,
that was a top request by the fans. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think even more so, as you're talking about the new quest system and how much was put into. Actually, I don't think I'm going the right way. How much was put into the culture, the time period, the setting. To me, it felt like a game that so wholeheartedly embraced Egypt and its people. Not only of the time, but the location itself, and it was everything I could have hoped for and more. And I always say, because of that, it's the most important Assassin's Creed to me.
That's amazing to hear. And back when we were doing the press tour for Origins, one of the proudest speaking points for me was all the research that went into this, all the, the working with Egyptologists, trying to absorb, and we're not just Assassin's Creed as a brand. It's not just about being in a setting and a place, but understanding, right? Honoring the magnitude of what used to be the Egyptian Empire at that point. Understanding the context, understanding the significance of Cleopatra, right? That was everybody knows Cleopatra, but I don't think everybody appreciates all the nuance to her rising to power. The fact that the pyramids were already ancient by the time she arrived. All this layer upon layer upon layer, and we really I was obviously one of the masses that had never really dug too deep, so we know pop culture references of Egypt. We know the pyramids exist. We know the Sphinx. We know Cleopatra. We know all these things because they're sort of in the ether out there, right? But digging into this and really, at least for me, educating myself and seeing this represented in 3D on the screen with elegance, with respect, and really honoring, like how magnificent it really was. So it's amazing to hear you say that, and I think that's one of the awesome things about Assassin's Creed in general, like being able to reflect and honor some of these older cultures.
Absolutely, and I know I'm not alone in this when I say that I have learned a ton about history through Assassin's Creed, going all the way back to the very first game, and I'm sure every time we play these games, we have people coming out in chat telling us that they've learned as much from AC as they have from a textbook, and I know that Discovery Tour is something that was implemented for the first time with Origins. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about that, and obviously Viking Age now is coming standalone to consoles as well. What has that whole experience been like?
I would love to answer your question, but I have a question for you first.
Oh, hit me.
Was there anything that you didn't know, coming from Egypt, that you didn't know that you learned while playing Origins, that you were like, oh, that's surprising?
That's a really good question. So I actually thought I knew quite a bit, because I studied classical architecture. That was
this is so beautiful, man.
So I studied Greek, Roman, and to a little lesser extent Egypt. So I wasn't super familiar with Egyptian architecture in that way. But one of the things that I love that I never really realized, because even when you do study Egyptian architecture, it's usually not of this time period. It's usually the pyramids and the Old Kingdom. And so one of the things that I think Origins does such a good job of that I never really realized is that at the time of Cleopatra, Cleopatra is essentially as much Greek as she is Egyptian, and this is a time when the Romans are coming to Egypt, when they're Alexandria is a Greek city, and the thing that this game showed to me and taught me was that at this time during Ptolemaic Egypt, Egyptians themselves were kind of second-class citizens in their own homeland. So that was something I learned just by playing the game, not even getting into Discovery Tour and all the things you learn in Discovery Tour. So that's my answer for you.
It's interesting. Like obviously seeing Alexandria be reconstructed because it had to be reconstructed from all the information, data, plans that we had. How much of it doesn't exist, right?
Right.
It's you know. But anyways, to answer your question about Discovery Tour, it was all this research, right? We had to do an amazing amount of research. We collaborated with museums around the world, trying to get artifacts, scans, information. We obviously knew that we wanted to be as genuine as possible and get as much information as we could to be educated, right? And to really pay homage to the culture. During all the research, working with Egyptologists and really absorbing this, we realized there's so much mystery, magic, so much information that hasn't been collected in a way that could be digested. And obviously we wanted to share this information, right? It's like we wrote a thesis on Egyptology, but how do you share that without saying, wait, stop the gameplay, stop fighting that dude, and listen to this story that we have to tell you.
Right.
And that was basically how Discovery Tour was born, saying, we've learned so much, and there's so much here that is so exciting and mysterious and amazing. How do we share that? How do we share that? And obviously, going through the thought process of, well, we want this to be accessible not just for players but also for children's and schools. Okay, we need to remove the combat. We need to make it as accessible as possible. We need to highlight. We can't share everything, but how do we highlight? And and you've seen even within Discovery Tour the evolution, from Origins to now the Viking Age. We're still trying to find ways to entertain while being educational. And I know educational is not a loved word by everybody, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that you read it, and like the factoid about the pyramids were already there when Cleopatra ascended to the throne, and they were already ancient. People, when I share that with people, a lot of people would say, "What? Oh, I thought they were built for her," or all this like information that is not correct, that is out there in the ether, correcting it and really helping people to contextualize that this is an ancient civilization that rose to amazing heights for that period, and even the occupation, right, of the Romans, how long they coexisted together. Uh, Cleopatra ascending to the throne as a woman, and after the failure of her, the other pharaohs. All this was super intriguing, and it was phenomenal to learn about and also to share with people through the Discovery Tour.
Yeah, and that's another thing I think this game does a great job of too, is showing how all these cultures combined, and how their gods combined, even in their religious beliefs and cultural beliefs, all come together, and that how prevalent that was throughout history. But I love that Cleopatra fact, that Cleopatra and Bayek, lives closer to today than they did to the building of the pyramids.
Yeah,
It's wild.
very true.
I stopped here for like a real specific reason, and this is like, honestly, this is when I realized how much research and time and effort was put into this game, is when I saw these stones here in the middle of the street. And I remember tweeting this out at the time, and like, it was the closest I had ever gone to going viral at the time, when I saw these, because I was shocked. Like, these are crosswalks, y'all. Like, these are ancient crosswalks, and the reason there are these elevated stones in the middle of the street is because oftentimes in ancient cities you would just have sewage basically running through the streets, or rainwater, or whatever, what have you. But you would need elevated places for people to cross, and the reason it's not just a straight slab of of raised portion is that you still need carriages and carts to be able to pass through. So you have these, horse-drawn carriages pass through, and their wheels are meant to go in between
My mic went out.
all these stone tabs, but pedestrians are meant to cross on top of them, so they're not getting their feet dirty and things like that from everything that's running in the streets. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this is something that, like, 0.01% of players would ever even notice, ever even think about, ever know existed, but and no one would miss if it wasn't there. But the development team put in that extra time and effort because they wanted to make it as realistic as possible, and that blew me away.
Trust me, the level of research that was put into Oranges was impressive. It's flora, fauna, Even at one point, we even had the discussion of anything that we build, any location, what is the percentage of wood that you could use? Because guess what? There's not a lot of wood in Egypt, right? Even the materials, like what type of rock, all of this had to be true to the culture, to what was available to them. It's strange to be talking about building a location, a military fort, and saying, no, no, no,
Can
wait,
you all
wait.
hear me?
You
Yeah,
cannot
there we
use
go.
more than X amount of wood.
I've been talking
It's
this
precious.
whole time. My mic was muted.
And players probably don't, you know, necessarily focus on that because they're busy playing. But all
This
these
game
little
looks
things
really
that you
good
say,
though,
it has to feel
in
as
60
authentic as possible,
FPS.
right? Even the stones on the floor, the patterns, all these things that could just be taken as artistic
Oh,
choices, they're actually very informed and based on all the research that was done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that even if you're not you're maybe aware of them, it
that's
comes through
crazy.
in the end. Ooh, let's not die.
Don't die.
All right, I want to address the chat and say hi to them because they've been asking some questions. The chat's been flying by, so I've grabbed as many as I could. And so thank you for sending your love. Thank you for sending your questions in. Just want to shout out some people who are sharing some love. Dr. XY said, I love this game series so much. Thank you for your incredible experience. Devster said, thank you, Ubisoft, for doing this event and these kind of games. I love it. Nick Nakamata said, I'm glad I can finally play in 60 FPS. Time to revisit Origins. And then Enigmar said, just wanted to tell you how amazing AC Origins was. Thanks to the work of all the team and how it raised the accessibility of the franchise. I was able to play AC games again. It changed my life in many ways. Love hearing that stuff. So thank you for sharing your stories. That's all amazing stuff. So let's go to some questions. So Taryn Walker earlier asked, what were the biggest challenges in bringing Assassin's Creed to an open world for the first time?
Oof. All of them.
All of them.
I mean, there was so much. I mean, obviously, the going into an open world, how you play that open world, right? Because we should be able to go wherever you want to go, whenever you want to go. Trying to find this formula, going from a mission-driven system to a quest system. Changing the combat, that was huge, right? Because now you're in an open world where you can be surrounded by animals or NPCs and enemies. Changing the combat from our old system to a hitbox system, which was it means that if you have a long axe and you spin around and the enemies are near you, you should be able to hit every single one of them. It's no longer the queue system of I'm only fighting the guy that's in front of me. Take your ticket, and now serving enemy 355 step up. It's sort of all these rationalization of how do we give players the choice to basically do anything they wanted, go anywhere they wanted. There was also the big question of the desert, right? To be honest, the first time I heard, oh, we're doing Assassin's Creed in Egypt in the desert, I thought of the pyramids, but I also thought, oh, that's a lot of desert, right? Like how do we address that? How do we direct the player to pockets of content?
That's
How
a
do we
lot of
still,
desert.
make it interesting, entertaining? The sandstorm, that was a huge challenge. Because it has to look good, right? It has to look good, and you have to be able to appreciate it, feel like it's there. It needs to be substantial. Constructing the pyramids, that was also I think that we absolutely could not get wrong. And it's not just the visual of the pyramids, but also climbing the pyramids, sliding down the pyramids. An interesting anecdote, even I'm sure you guys probably remember there was a slight interesting factoid after the game shipped when we sort of predicted. I forget which one of the pyramids it was. I think it was the Great Pyramid, where we sort of speculated when there should have been a chamber, and
yes,
then
I remember this.
Yeah, and then a month later, Egyptologists discovered that there was indeed a chamber where we predicted, because we did all the research, and we knew we had to get it right. We knew people like you, Yusuf, who are Egyptian or of Egyptian descent, we had to get it right. We couldn't just make up whatever we wanted. So it was amazing that our research led
That's
to
one
us
thing
saying,
I
we really
do.
feel
I
there should
will
be a
say
chamber
about
here
Ubisoft
because
games, guys,
structurally
is
the way it's built, So,
when they
so
do a
theorized,
historical
and then
thing
I think it
like
was a month or
this,
2 months after
yeah, they add in
it
the
was
game
released,
elements and all that, but they at
you know,
least
it was discovered and it was
get
verified
the
that indeed there was a
history and
chamber
all
there.
that.
I think at one point players were accusing us of being Templars because we had this
99%
information,
right.
which you know it's the best compliment I guess that we could get. But yeah, there was a lot of it that was a challenge, and not just honoring the brand, but also honoring the Egyptian culture at that point. It's it was a little stressful, let's say.
A little stressful, yes.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. Rafferty Rules Twitch said, "Wow, that's so cool, top tier research." And Spliff said, "Thank you so much for Origins. Have hundreds of happy hours with this wonderful game." Oh, glad to hear it. Thank you guys.
That's awesome. And to let everyone know too, we're going to be playing for a little bit longer here, but our showcase here of the AC Origins is not going to be the end of the stream. After this, we have news coming from AC Stories. So the Assassin's Creed extended storytelling, including comics, graphic novels, manga. So stay tuned. There will be a lot more information too about further AC stories.
That's right. And there's plenty more to come in the coming months, so please just stay tuned. We're celebrating AC for a long time. And then, as mentioned, if you missed the video earlier, there's a special event in September to learn more. And if you want to learn more about what you missed earlier in this stream, head to assassinscreed15.com and you'll get all your information there. But we can kind of go over some of the big highlights from what was mentioned in the first 6 minutes, Jose. And you were in that video, so we've got
Unfortunately, yes.
No, it was great. So year 2 content for ACV, free to all players. That's very exciting. Tell us a little bit more about that from what you mentioned in the video.
Oh my god. So second year of AC Valhalla free content. Obviously we're doing the second part. We just did the second part to Mastery Challenge, as Tombstone the Fallen, and I guess there's that little surprise, the Forgotten Saga, which is let me think of my PR training to not give any spoilers. We obviously announced that it's inspired, very roguelite inspired. We wanted to sort of explore. For those of you that are fans that have been with us in Valhalla since the beginning, you probably have heard me say in the past that we wanted to explore, right? We wanted to experiment. We invited players to come with us. And this is sort of the culmination of that exploration of saying, it's such a rich brand, and taking the historical, taking the mythological, for those ancient cultures, it's literally impossible to separate the two, right? People literally woke up and went to bed acknowledging deities and all the values that they had. I think the Forgotten Saga is the culmination of that, of us saying, let's explore, let's try something else, let's step outside of our comfort zone. Let's find a way to tell this story. Obviously, for the people that are familiar with the mythology, they probably know the myth of Baldur. For the players that played Dawn of Ragnarok, they sort of know what triggered Ragnarok. Having this moment to tell the story of, as a father, what would Odin do, right? To rescue your son, to get him back, to not have him live in this dishonorable death. And basically coming up with the gameplay around this moment and say, you know what, we're going to go in a different direction. It's still Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's still, if you play the main game, you're going to play this and say, yes, I get the controls, I understand everything. But also sort of turning some of the formula upside down. Much like a roguelite, obviously, you're intended to die. The more that you play and die, the more powerful you get. As you sort of get kicked out of Niflheim, the story unwraps, and then you should really understand what's happening, and you really there's some subtlety to the storytelling as to why Odin is trying and what it means to him. He's not there as Odin, the old father. He's there as Odin, the father. He's not welcome there. He's depowered. He sort of needs to build his power up to be able to rescue Baldur. I think that's all I can say without giving any spoilers. But for sure, you know what?
That's plenty.
The best part is that it's an exploration. Is the team sort of saying, you know what? Let's try something else. Let's do something else. Let's give something unique to the players, and it's free. Everybody can download it. And have Valhalla. Yeah.
It's exciting.
So and to be honest, it's been amazing having the community be part of this journey with us, and we'll be listening to the feedback, exploring, trying new things, growing from the feedback. Uh, the Forgotten Saga is sort of the culmination of a lot of ideologies that we merged, a lot of new things that we wanted to try. I hope that players play it and like it. It's another E3 moment, right, where we say, okay, we're going a different direction to be experimental. We think this is really cool, and we hope players also think it's cool.
I want to point out a comment that Rad Dude said in the chat, where said Jose is great. You can really tell his passion for the AC brand, and yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if there are any other questions. So I got one from YOBZ who said, "What's your favorite aspect about Bayek?"
That's a tough question. I
know.
think. Well, man, there's so many. I don't want to, minimize him. I think to me, the who he is, the fact that he's a Meje, he feels the duty, but it's not just a duty, it's not just a job, right? He really wants to preserve the ancient culture of Egypt, right? And it's a time of turmoil, and I think as human beings, we all have that, right? We want to stay true to our morals. We want to, make sure that who we are, what we believe in, is reflected in what we do. We were talking before the stream about, how kids love Bayek because he is this figure of an upstanding citizen that is there to protect the people, that is there to preserve their quality of life. You could say that he's a sheriff, but he's really not just a sheriff, because he honestly, really, truly wants to do good for the people, right? He really, truly embodies this role, heart and soul. And I think seeing his journey, it's inspiring in some ways, because I think as human beings, we all have that of we want to do good. We want to do good by not just ourselves, but the people around us. And he sort of embodies this, and how far he will go in his journey for this.
And he'll go pretty far. Yeah.
That's a really good answer, though.
Yeah, that's good.
And
answer.
like I feel that really hard because one of the things that Origins allowed you to do, which I'm a big fan of, obviously, is customize Bayek's hair, right? You could have long hair, no beard, long hair. I tend to go for the short hair on top with the beard. Who would have thought?
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah. But the other thing I really like is that you can choose whether or not to keep Bayek's hood up or not, like up or down. And to me, I never put the hood up, and that's just me. There's no wrong way to do it. Obviously, you can absolutely play with the hood if you like. But to me, it was because of everything you just said that Bayek is a Magi. He is a protector of the people of Egypt. He is not, at this time in the story, he is not someone who is hiding and working in the shadows. He is a protector of the people of Egypt, and he has nothing to be ashamed of for that, and or nothing to hide from in that aspect. And it's important to him that he is there for the people of Egypt, and that he is visible to them. So I always kept the hood down because of that.
As I'm speaking, I'm realizing that maybe there is a metaphor in there somewhere about who Bayek is, and sort of his evolution of wanting to stay true to the old, but also embracing the new and moving forward and finding out how he best can be there for the people. Maybe this is a metaphor also of Origins itself, right? Trying to preserve the DNA of the brand, and also doing right by the players and saying, well, it's time to evolve, and we're going to take the good, all the traditions of what are AC, and push them forward. I don't know if the writers intended that, but it feels like there's a metaphor in there somewhere.
I think yeah, they would. I'm sure they would tend to agree.
I just want to mention again that Assassin's Creed Origins is available on 60 FPS on Xbox and PS next-gen consoles, and there's a free weekend. There we go, free weekend, June 16th to the 20th. So you should jump back in or play for the first time if you've never played before. It's the perfect time. And so for everything you missed earlier, we had some announcements at the beginning of the stream. Head to AssassinsCreed15.com to learn more.
So we have our first true assassination here.
Ooh, yeah.
We've infiltrated this bathhouse. We're trying to assassinate Eudoris with nothing but our hidden blade. This is Bayek's first assassination out here with the hidden blade.
It's wild seeing this again. It's giving me total flashbacks.
This to me is what Assassin's Creed is all about. You know, like there's your target. The entrance is guarded. You're not just walking right in. How do you get about this?
Ptolemy is a chinless simpleton. Simonides, you have consumed too much wine.
Yeah, there's a link in the chat now for the free weekend if you want more information.
Yusef, do you have any hot goss on Ptolemy?
Hot goss on Ptolemy specifically. Ooh. No, oh gosh, nothing that comes to mind. Sorry, I'm a little bit preoccupied here with...
Yeah. Sorry, I'll let you.
You do your thing. You do your thing. And the free weekend. So someone was asking if it was PC only. No, it's also on Xbox, PlayStation, and Stadia, in addition to PC.
Shout out to the back hair representation too in this game. You know, you love to see that.
Oh. Mystery solved. Remember you know, those moments that we wanted to explain to players why the salute, you know, and him losing his finger and how that became iconic for the brand in a way.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are about to switch over to
the. I saw that of being like, oh, that's
to the
why,
Xbox.
You know? And it was really out of
Showcase
desperation more so than
extended.
anything else.
Because they've covered pretty much everything that we needed to know here. I thought there was going to be a new game announcement. That's why I wanted to cover this. But it wasn't. That'll be in September. So keep an eye out for that.
I think these conversations to post-assassination, obviously it's something AC's always done.
We're going to switch over
some of my favorite in every
to the
game
extended.
where you
And then I will be back.
on their deathbed, essentially. And
So I'm going to
what they
switch back to
reveal
my
at that
starting,
moment,
and then I'll
what
bring it back when
ideologies
we're
they grasp
ready
onto.
for the next stream.
Some of them are quite.
Alright guys, we are now on the Xbox Extended Showcase. Coming up, we're going to get some behind the scenes on Grounded. I did the starting to split this into two deals. If you're watching this and you want to see the Assassin's Creed portion, it'll be at the beginning. So just wait for that, and I'm gonna turn this sound down because their little music here is a little loud. Okay, so if you want to see this portion, or if you want to see the portion before this, when it goes on demand, you can watch the beginning, and if you want to skip directly to this portion, go to the next starting soon screen, and you will see it. That's how I've divided this. so you know exactly where you need to go to see whatever you want to see. Behind the scenes on Hot Wheels, that's good to know. And if you also want to see the rest of the Assassin's Creed stuff that we're missing, they were just doing talking about some comics and stuff. If you want to see that, you can also go to Ubisoft's YouTube channel and watch the full stream without my reactions. There was really nothing to react to, so that's why you didn't hear me talk very much. I thought it was going to be more of a showing what's next. I will react to a lot of the stuff I see here more. With the Assassin's Creed stuff, I'm curious to see the third and final expansion. I'm curious to play the roguelike adventure they've added. I think that'll be fun. Me and Josh are actually playing through Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now on the Twitch channel on Mondays, so that's gonna be fun. We decided to put Ghost Recon back on the back burner because it just didn't seem like people were enjoying it as much. If you are, you can always let us know and we'll bring it back. We will finish it at some point. And if you want to see me and Tyler's reactions to the first showcase they did, you can see that on the YouTube channel. Intimate. A lot of these are going to be behind the scenes stuff, so it's going to be fun. I don't know if they're going to show like any more games. But we'll just have to wait and see. Minecraft Legends looked really cool, and I'm not even a Minecraft fan, and that game looked cool. There's going to be an interview with Pete Hines. I love that guy from Bethesda. Pete Hines always makes me laugh. A lot of behind the scenes stuff in this show. That's going to be pretty cool. Seven seconds, guys. 50 seconds, guys. Let's do this. Go. Peggy 18.
Hey, we are a small snippet of Squanch Games, and we are here to tell you how excited we are to be a part of the Microsoft Games Show Extended.
Game Showcase Extended.
You know, Game Showcase Extended. What's the need for the extended? Why add that extra word?
It's like,
is there one that's not extended? And that's why?
We're getting nods. There is a not extended one. Okay.
And that one's just called without the extended.
So that's just called
there's the normal one. I know what this is.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, we're happy to be a part of it nonetheless.
That was great. That was a great opening.
Welcome to Xbox Games Showcase Extended. I'm Erin, this is Malik, and we have the honor of diving deeper into some of the most exciting and talked about announcements, as well as gameplay from the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase just 2 days ago. For the first time ever, the entire showcase was focused on games you can play over the next 12 months.
That's right, Aaron. You saw world premiere gameplay from Redfall and Starfield, and today we've got Bethesda's own Pete Hines right here to tell us more. You'll hear from the renowned developers behind the brand new Xbox franchise, Our History Untold. Dive into Naraka Bladepoint with our partners at NetEase Games, and so much more.
But first, we begin with a special look at how our fans got to celebrate the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase with a message from our very own Phil Spencer.
I love coming to events like this. You can just feel the energy, people loving to come together as a community, their love of video games, the Xbox fans. Just a really special time for everybody, myself included. Gaming has this unique ability to bring people together, whether it's saving the world from the aliens or winning a football game. It's so great. I love hearing from people. What did you like in the show? Those conversations with people that are here about areas that they like and areas they wish we would do more, I think that's something that drives us. You saw it in the show today. People said, we want to see more gameplay. And so we said, okay, great. You're going to see a ton of gameplay.
Yeah, I think this is our biggest lineup ever in terms of just diversity of different kinds of games from different kinds of teams, different genres.
There's some franchises, Japanese franchises, don't always come to Xbox. We've been working on that. Today we obviously had Persona.
It's important to us. We not only have all the games coming from our internal studios, but also great independent game developers that we work with around the world. So could not be more excited for what we're doing with Kojima.
And he's got this really great idea for a game. And I want to be clear, because I know we say like experience and stuff. He's building a video game, but he has this real unique things that he wants to do in the game. And we said, okay, let's go do something together. And I'm just really proud to be in an industry that can be part of so many people coming together.
Nice. What in the world? Trying to figure out what this is. Valheim. PC Game Pass this fall. Oh, Valheim's coming to consoles. Yeah. I've been wanting to test that out. That's awesome.
Bethesda opened the showcase with a dramatic gameplay demo for Redfall and closed it with Todd Howard showing us how deep the rabbit hole goes on Starfield. And we also got a sneak peek at upcoming expansions for Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76. Here to break it all down for us is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pete Hines from Bethesda. Pete, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So about a month ago, you all announced some delays for both Redfall and Starfield. So I wanted to give you a chance to tell us a little bit about the decision-making process for that.
Absolutely. Look, with all the time that goes into a game, it would be foolish to rush it out the door before it's ready. I think we have continued to sort of examine how we think about games and making sure that they are going to meet our players' expectations. Obviously, the last 2 years have really challenged us from a development standpoint. how we work now largely remotely, while a lot of our folks are not back in the office. And, that has an impact. I also think we've been thinking about things like release dates and when do we give those out, and how do we make sure we give one out that we actually hit and don't have to change later. So it's not something we undertake lightly, but at the end of the day, I think what our fans expect, what Xbox fans, what Bethesda fans expect is a high quality game, and we want to do everything we can to give our teams the time to fully realize the games they're making.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's all about, right? Like delivering an amazing experience for the players out there. And so, speaking of games, we're just going to jump into it. We're going to start with how the showcase started with
Sounds good.
Redfall. Now, before we even get into the game, Arcane's making the game, and I want you to talk a little bit about the pedigree of Arcane, just in case people don't know.
Sure.
These folks over there, they're doing their thing.
Arcane Studios is known for really amazing, immersive sims. They do any number of things. If you play games of theirs, Dishonored 2, Prey, there's a lot of common threads you'll find in them. They create really amazing, believable worlds. I think that's a big part of their game is when you're in Dunwall or you're up on a space station in Prey, that it feels believable. There's a reason why things are the way they are. They're also a big believers in systems-based as opposed to scripted. So they really embrace player freedom and sort of giving players the tools to decide, you figure out how you want to complete this mission or get through this area. We're not going to tell you how. We're just going to give you tools and then give you the freedom to go and do. But, there's great characters and interesting story. They bring a lot of different elements and then really let the player create the experience they want.
And that's what it's all about. Gamers have taken many games and made it their own. And I think the fact that Arcane is making the game with that in mind is super important. Now, how similar or dissimilar would you say this game, Redfall, is from the other Arcane games?
Look, on the surface, it's a first-person shooter that you can play solo or with up to 4 players, and so immediately you might say, well, it's not a single-player game, so it must be wildly different. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely ways in which it is different, but I think when folks play the game, and even when they see more of the game, I think they'll start to see all of those things about an Arcane game that they love and appreciate. Why it's won multiple Action Game of the Year awards for Dishonored 2, is their ability to bring all of those things together, really high level of polish, and let folks experience it. And so I think all of those things we talked about. If you want to play a game by yourself and get a great Arcane story, you can absolutely do that in Redfall. But you can also do things that you haven't been able to do in an Arcane game, like experience it with friends and find out sort of how the whole can become greater than the sum of the parts, like playing it off of each character's abilities. You saw some of that in the demo that we showed. I think the more that people appreciate that, you almost are going to want to try and play Redfall a couple of different ways. You might want to play it by yourself a little bit, play it with others, and it's a game that allows you to do either or both of those things, however you see fit.
I'm glad you talked about playing with friends, because I'm taking applications for friends to help me get through Redfall.
Can I put my name on that list? I'm down to a little...
It'd be an honor. Pete,
keep me on that list.
All right,
we need to go explore Redfall together.
I'm excited. I can't wait for that. And so let's talk a little bit more about the game. Now, between the trailer that we saw last year at the reveal, as well as this one that we just saw, I feel like Redfall reminded players of other co-op shooters, like Left 4 Dead, for example. What makes Redfall unique?
Again, it's one of those things, like if you watch just like combat footage, you might look at Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood or any of these things and go, oh, I see multiple characters facing a bunch of enemies, and so it's the same game. But I think that would be doing a disservice, that it's all of the things that take place in between the combat as well as the combat itself, sort of combining different skills and abilities in the way that you do, Layla dropping down an elevator using her powers that Jacob can use to get up top on a roof and provide cover. You have different characters who play roles really well, how you choose to use Brebone, the robot. All of those things come into, again, allowing the players not to say, here's a set of rules and you can only use, no, here's just some stuff that you can go off into this amazing sort of dynamic, ever-changing world and sort of experience and explore for yourself. And you come back the next day and it'll look and feel like a different experience, even though you're in the exact same part of the game. I think those are the kinds of things that Arcane does that really bring that sort of extra special element that makes their game so compelling.
Yeah, compelling and fresh. So I'm excited for Redfall, and you said it here for everyone to see that we're going to be playing together. So I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
You got the proof. All right.
Can't wait.
Awesome. So let's talk about Elder Scrolls Online. Now, I wanted to talk about the team philosophy, because I hear that the team is actually banned from saying things like, now is the perfect time to
My
play.
least favorite saying is there's never been a better time to play a game. Like, we all say that. Yes, games always get better. We know that. The thing that we love about where Elder Scrolls Online is going is their ability to continually refresh the experience for players, provide new experiences like going to High Isle, a place they've never been in an Elder Scrolls game. It does a lot of things like story and intrigue. There's a lot of politics in High Isle, different factions and the conflict that's going on there. And again, a way that you can jump in and play by yourself and experience it by yourself, even though it's an MMO. But the real special sauce of Elder Scrolls Online is our amazing community. They're so welcoming. They're so helpful. You know, if you need a little bit of help, if you need a lot of help,
they're there for you.
They're there for you to help explain, to make sure you have a fun experience. And honestly, like, that is such a huge part for an online game of creating an environment where anybody, no matter whether you just started playing or you've been playing for 8 years, can have a good experience no matter how you decide to engage with it.
I love that you mentioned that. Community is as you mentioned, is such a huge part of any online game. And so for players who may not have played Elder Scrolls, who are, like you said, looking to jump in, to know that they have that community backing them, that's going to help them, guide them in their journey, is super exciting. So, but I want to talk about Fallout a little bit.
Okay.
Huge milestone recently, 25 years of Fallout. It can rent a car even now. At this point, right? We're talking about it. All right, so this has to mean something super special to the team.
Absolutely, and look, we are as aware of anybody. Like, this franchise did not start with Bethesda. It's one that we took on along the way, and our intent is not just to pay homage to like Bethesda Fallout. Like, no, we mean all Fallout, because what this series has done, what it meant to us as players when we went and played those games, played the original Fallout, Fallout 2. And then what the franchise has become, and sort of growing and finding an even, a new audience with Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 76 is something we really want to celebrate. And honestly, what's going on in Fallout 76 with the pit and your ability to continue to push the boundaries in an online game of story and meaningful player choice, and as you're going along, making decisions that kind of matter and have a real impact, I think is important in the evolution of Fallout 76. And just honestly, how far that game has come from its launch. Like, we're keenly aware of how that launch went, but we are also keenly aware of the incredible amount of effort and dedication from all of our teams across Bethesda to say, like, we believe in this thing, and we want to give the fans more of what they want and the kind of experiences that they want. And where Fallout 76 is now is truly remarkable when you go back and look at sort of where we were and how far we've come, and honestly, how much cool stuff is in store in the pit. It's going to be super fun.
Excited to jump in. And again, that's one of those things that I'm sure you guys attribute to the community, giving that feedback.
That 76 community, again, not just in the game, but what they do for each other, to support other folks in the community, what they have done to raise funds for worthwhile causes. Like, it's not just an amazing group of gamers, it's an amazing group of human beings, and honestly, one that we're honored to interact with and be a part of every day.
I love that, Pete. Before you make me cry, we're going to move on to Starfield, all right?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about it. Starfield ended the show. I got to say, watching the trailer, breathtaking. It's one of those things from the different locations, and just seeing the difference between that moon versus the populated city, just amazing.
I don't think I've seen something like it.
Just everything was so awesome. The team really outdid themselves.
It's one of those things about a Bethesda Studios game that I always love, and it's been the case, honestly, since, I worked on Morrowind and Oblivion and all those games that, we talked about. And for every single one, you cannot pin people down to, oh, it's about this, because it's not. Like, ultimately what those games are massive sandboxes where they give players just ridiculous amounts of freedom to say, you go figure out what kind of game you want to play and what kind of experience you want to have, because that's what this game is about. It's not us prescribing and saying, you have to do these things. And no, it's about creating this huge sandbox with over 1,000 planets so you can completely explore and say, yeah, but you don't have to. Like, it's entirely up to you to figure out what is fun for me. Do I want story? Do I want to join factions? Do I want to, build outposts and gather resources to build more cool stuff? The team really puts all of those tools in the player's hands and step back and says, now it's time for you to tell the story of Starfield, which is your story, which is going to be different than mine, which is going to be different than everybody else's. And I think that's really where the magic of a Bethesda Game Studios game happens.
Speaking about the scope of everything, Todd said that this is what an epic RPG is. What does Bethesda define an epic RPG as?
I think, again, it's sort of leaning into, look, there's a lot of folks who take a lot of different approaches on what does an open world mean. And Bethesda Game Studios always pushes themselves to the most freedom and least limitations, right? Where the items in the world are all real things. You walk into a store and there's a bunch of weapons or whatever. Like, that's not just art on a countertop. Like, you could pick those up. You could steal them and run out of it. You can create chaos. Like, we don't want to put too many limits on what the player is or isn't allowed to do. We love it when players say, I wonder what happens if, and then they try it. And then they get to see, like, oh my Lord, chaos ensued and it was insanity. Everybody was shooting at me. And like, that's, I think, the beauty of Bethesda Game Studios and the number of ways that they push for you to explore that, right? It's not just one, it's you could spend thousands of hours doing nothing but shipbuilding and like focus that as all you're about, and that's okay. But you could also be about exploring every planet and finding all of the good, and that's okay. Or you could just play the main story and be like, I want a kind of experience that I'm guided through so that I kind of get to see stuff, and I might stop here and there. Oh, there's a cool side quest that I got, but you know, I want something that sort of leads me through because I'm a little, you know, it can be a little daunting to say you can go do whatever I want. Like, ooh, I don't know what I should do. So some folks want a little bit of a guided path or to understand where the fun is, and no approach is wrong. Like, for me, that's epic because it says we aren't putting any limits on what you can or can't do. We're going to set you loose and just sit back and watch the beauty that you create with your own stories and the way that you solve problems or choose to spend your time in this world we've created.
I agree with
you know
him
what
on
you
that.
said about those moments that maybe you experience that I don't. Like, those are some of the best moments if I think back
With
to
what he said there,
RPGs
I
when I'm
mean,
discussing with
some
my friends.
people like
oh, did you
the
see that?
linear,
No, I didn't see that. Where
like
did you see it?
myself,
And
I
having
love
them go
kinda
out and
being
find it.
guided.
So I think that's going to be one of those things.
We talk about that a lot, that sort of water cooler moment.
Exactly.
Of like, you come in the
But
next
I also
day and
like
you talk
when
to everybody
I,
about what you did, and you were like,
when I
wait,
see
I did that
something
quest, but I did
to
this completely different
go
thing. And you
off
sort of
and
start to
look
appreciate
at,
all of the choices that you
I
could
like
have
having
made.
that
You
option.
didn't even realize were an option. Like, oh, I didn't even think about doing that. Like, oh yeah, I just ran in and stole his ship and shot all of his crew members and took off. Like, you can do that? Like, oh yeah, you can do anything. Like that, I think that is a special part of a Bethesda Game Studios game. And when we say epic RPG, we mean all of the stories, all of them.
All right, you just gave me some ideas for stealing people's ships. So I appreciate that. That's going to be top on the list to do in Starfield. Now, we saw quite a bit of combat and action in the game. That seems to also be, in addition to exploring and everything, that seems to be another huge focus of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, look, if you look at a game like Skyrim, which, like, everybody's played Skyrim at this point, it can, you know, a combat is a big part of that. Unless you decide it's not. Like, if you're one of those folks that says, actually, I'm going to do the alchemy thing, and I just go off and pick flowers and make potions and, like, live another life in another world this way, then combat isn't part of it. But look, we know in an epic RPG, there's always bad people, they, you know, shooting at you. Sometimes you got to return fire, and there's a lot of fun to be had there. And so, you know, providing a lot of different skills that sort of determine how good you are in combat, combined with all the different weapons in the game, and then you layer in ship combat and all of these other things, it starts to sort of paint a picture of just how broad or how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's going to be so impressive. And you touched on it a little bit, and I want to talk about it because this was when I'm watching the video, the demo, what I saw, and it really caught my eye, is around the ship. It's not just getting in the ship and that's your ship. There's so much behind it. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, like every ship is customizable to the nth degree, and not just like cosmetically. I want my ship to look like this or look like that, though obviously that's totally a thing that you could do if all you care about is cosmetics. But it goes much deeper than that in terms of like what kind of shields you have, what kind of weapons you have, like what kind of ship are you building? What do you want it to be good at? What trade-offs are you willing to make or not? And then the other part of it is, of course, well, you can't just, like, it's a spaceship. Those aren't cheap. So you have to figure out, like, how am I going to do this? Where do I get the resources to build this stuff? What kind of, you know, skills do I need to level up to improve different parts of my ship beyond, you know, what I could do without those skills? So there's a lot of, again, choices in terms of you get to decide that, how much you want to put into that or not. Do you just want to give somebody money for the parts that you want? Do you want to build it? All of those things are sort of part of the fun of deciding how much do you want to interact with this and how do you want to interact with it.
Absolutely. I mean, just as you mentioned, the scope, the level of player agency, something that I feel like is going to just make Starfield such a special experience. So between Redfall, ESO, Fallout 76, and Starfield, you all are just We got a few
Killing the
games
game.
coming. Yeah, we got a few games coming out. It's gonna be so great. Pete, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, Pete. Now, coming up, we'll hear from our friends around the world, including Squanch Games, Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, and of course, Xbox fans like you. But first, let's hear from the creators of one of the world's most popular Battle Royale games.
We are glad to share Naraka Bladepoint, a unique online multiplayer action game with players all around the globe. As a NetEase studio, 24 Entertainment is joining hands with Microsoft to bring Naraka Bladepoint to consoles for the first time. You could play the game on Xbox Series X and S, as well as Windows next week. We're also joining Xbox Game Pass, a platform with a huge player base and a vast, bright future. Naraka has been so well received on the PC platform. I am so grateful to the players for their love and support.
This
As
game
a
does
competitive
look
survival
awesome,
game
though.
incorporating a lot of action elements, Naraka features a range of characters with unique personalities. Each hero draws from different civilizations and cultures. Battles allow for a great degree of strategic play. You've got a wealth of melee and ranged weapons to choose from, and a vast map filled with interactive elements to explore. Perhaps you'll engage your foes in samurai combat, katanas at the ready, or maybe you'll use Persian assassin techniques and strike from afar. With your grappling hook, you can fly between temple walls and across bamboo forests with ease. Beyond solo endeavors, you can also party up with friends and use group tactics to flatten your foes. That's Naraka's underlying design philosophy, that you're unchained and have the freedom to choose how you play. Collect soul jades to change how you play, transform your katana strikes, and make your cannon a weapon of mass destruction.
Nice.
Each hero can be customized too. Whether you want to rush into battle as a berserker warrior or cast fireballs as a sorcerer, the choice is yours. We can't forget to mention our unique face customization system too. You'll never need to worry about running into a doppelganger on the battlefield, because you're able to edit your hero's features to your heart's content. You can even recreate your favorite faces. As we approach Naraka's first launch anniversary, we're introducing a brand new weapon, the Twin Blades, releasing together with the Xbox and Game Pass editions. Twin Blades strike with the speed of a raging tempest and sweeping blows. We've seen similar weapons in other games, but here in Naraka, it comes with a style all its own. Charging up strikes is usually a high-risk, high-reward move. With the Twin Blades, you can charge up while moving and keep your momentum as you unleash a flurry of combos on foes. Since its release, Naraka Bladepoint has launched its own faction clash game mode with Omni's Nightmare and the thrilling limited-time mode Shadow Surge. There have been many casual modes to play as well, but our community has eagerly asked for a campaign mode. We're always listening to our player base, and we're happy to announce that the wait is over. Players will see the first chapter of our campaign mode. Form teams of 3 to take on new enemy types and massive bosses. Disarming a boss won't be as easy as disarming another player though. PvP and campaign mode are two entirely different games. Further campaign chapters are also in the works, so we're eager to hear any feedback you have for us. We are also working on an Xbox One version and hope to see more players join Naraka later this year. Naraka is launching on Xbox Series X and S and Windows Store on June 23rd, and it's included with Game Pass at launch day. Now's your chance to dive into the world of Naraka Bladepoint.
快来体验我生无拘吧！
That's awesome. I don't know if you can play the campaign solo though. That'd be nice if you could.
History is filled with moments of greatness. Some well-known, some lost to time. But what about the history that could have been if you were its architect? How would you reshape
This
the
looked
world?
really good as well.
What new stories would you tell? And when your people speak, would you listen? How would you lead them in this new world? History is filled with moments of greatness, but these will be yours.
Oh, it's only available on PC. Dadgummit.
I'm excited to welcome our friends from Oxide Games for a closer look at their historical grand strategy game for PC called Ara History Untold. Dan, Michelle, thank you two for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
And on behalf of the entire studio, we are really excited to be here and finally be able to talk about Ara.
I mean, we all are excited too. You just had the world premiere 2 days ago for Ara. And I have to say, I'm a really, really big history fan. I love me some history, so I've been looking forward to talking to you two about this. Now, we all know this is not your first strategy game, but the vision behind Ara is so ambitious. So tell us more about it. And also for those who are new to Oxide Games, we would love to hear more about the studio as well.
So Oxide Games was founded 9.5 years ago in my basement, actually, from the development leads of Civilization V. And our goal is to push strategy games to the next level.
And what's really great about working on a new IP is that you don't have kind of these previous expectations that a sequel would have. And so the sky really was the limit, and we got to really take the genre to a new space. And we really hope that not only will fans of strategy games like this, but people who've never played a strategy game before will find something they love as well.
You're absolutely taking it to the next level. I think I saw like a drone was in like the 18th century or something like that. It's very, very fascinating. And I think that like, if you're someone who really enjoys history, it's bringing like all of the worlds together, all the periods of time together. And that's a grand vision in itself. So how does the vision of Ara impact the player experience within the game?
So one of the kind of big things we wanted to do with Ara was really explore how to make the game less about finding that optimal strategy, that optimal path, and really bring in ways to make it more meaningful to the player, make it unique to themselves. So what are different kinds of choices we can bring to the player so that when you play it's different than when I play, and yet we can both be competitive together? How can we do things to really impact agency and expression and really let you express your values and your play styles through the different mechanics in the product?
And Dan, what about you? How does the vision impact the overall experience?
So one of the big things that we've been working on is what we call the living world. We wanted the expression of the game to manifest itself in a way that felt authentic and cool. So we've spent a lot of effort on making sure that the choices that you make are expressed in a visual way. And so you're going to see your citizens doing things that reflect the choices that you've made. And this is actually really challenging. So one of the goals when we founded Oxide was to not have to tell the designers, no, you can't do that thing. And so the game is obviously huge. It's just massive. And so it was a very large technological constraint from doing something like that. But we have our own proprietary engine that allows us to really bring this alternate Earth to life.
I think that's the beauty, right? Because in history, the great thing about learning history is that you learn about culture, you learn about stories, you learn about things that are probably brand new to your eyes. But the way that Ara helps you remix, reimagine, and rewrite history is a beautiful sight to see. And I'm excited to get my hands on it, and I'm sure everyone else is who's watching. So let us know, where can we learn more about it, and when can we get our hands on it? Because I need it today.
So if you head over to the website, you can sign up for the Insider program, which will give you a chance to join the technical alpha and play the game later this summer, which is super exciting because we've been playing it, all the time, and so now you'll have a chance to play.
Dan, Michelle, thank you two so much for giving us the lowdown on Ara. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Grounded is finally leaving early access and moving into full release with a highly anticipated story mode. Here's Adam Brennicke and Eric Dorabella from Obsidian Entertainment to tell us more.
Okay, cool. I wish Aura would have been an Xbox game as
What
well.
can players expect from the 1.0 launch of Grounded?
The big one, of course, is going to be a complete game, and that means story, right? You know, from beginning to end, you can play through, you know, why are you here? Who put you here?
Yeah, exactly.
And how are you going to get home? And I think those are like the big questions that people are asking about Grounded. Originally, we really just wanted to make a survival game. And one of the jokes was, hey, what if we did backyard survival? Everyone was like, yeah, that's a very unusual idea, but I think there's something there. One of the things that we did early on was establish the art style of Grounded. Things started like coming to life as we did the initial prototypes and like seeing some of the cool things, like the first time we added like the spider into the yard, seeing the reactions of people in the office, like even like jump scares, like people screaming. The team is very small. It's the smallest team I've ever worked on at Obsidian. I wanted everyone to be able to participate on the design side of things. So I said everyone is a designer on the team. And I think that extends into our community and how we're building the game in game preview and early access.
That's probably one of the big successes of the game is how close we work with the community and take all their feedback and suggestions. I think it's super rad.
For a game developer too, that is a huge thing, just to get people's feedback constantly of what they're liking, what they're not liking, and all those adjustments.
That's a
just
cool
make
idea.
A much better game at the end of the day.
Just make everybody a designer.
We're at that point now that the yard's getting finished, and now we can play through the story. There's a lot of surprises. There's a lot of you know, things that I think players aren't going to expect. And I
think I know what you're talking about. I cannot wait to see players' reactions. I know a lot of players are just waiting for the story to be finished to finally jump into the game. People who played the game previously are also like holding out for more content. I think it's just going to pull a lot of people back in and gain a lot of new players. So Adam, we have the Broodmother from last year. It was like our first big boss. And then we came out with a bunch of mini bosses like
Termite King
and the Assistant Manager. But in this trailer, we're showing players the Mantis. What can they expect from this?
So we're super excited to finally show off the Mantis. And I know that's been a big ask from players that they want to see a praying mantis in the game.
They've been asking for this for a long time. Do we have anything else that the players can get excited about?
You know, the mantis is just a little tease of one of the new boss fights, but there's more to come, right? Like potentially many boss fights that we have planned for the full release of Grounded. There's a lot more secrets and other things to uncover.
When we reached 5 million players, that was already super crazy. And then we hit the next milestone of 10 million players still being Xbox.
Doubling it, right?
Yeah, in Xbox Game Preview Early Access.
That just goes to show that we have a fantastic game. Everyone's just so surprised at like how much Grounded has grown.
I just hope that players and the community understand how important they are and impactful on this game with us.
Yeah, we're so thankful for everyone's support along the way. It's been an amazing journey, and we're finally almost at the finish line, right?
Yeah.
And I think we wouldn't be here without our amazing community and all of the fan support.
I agree. Best community ever. Yeah.
Nice. What are they going to show us in Flight Simulator?
So I got a call from my good friend York Newman, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator. He told me it was imperative that I meet with him. So I'm in this helicopter, we're flying to this location, we're on our way, let's go. York!
Hey, Paris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming to DC, man.
No, thank you. What am I doing here?
Later. Let's get in. We don't have much time.
Oh, okay.
All right, Paris, right across the Potomac. That's
I
where
love
contact
that
is.
guy, man.
Are we headed towards Arlington?
It's still secret. I'm sorry.
What is this place?
Oh, you'll see. Let's go.
Whoa.
Wow, look at this place. Nick, how's it going?
Hello.
Paris, I would like to introduce Nick Partridge from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Thank you for having me. But this makes a lot of sense. I saw during the trailer there was a collaboration between the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum and Flight Simulator. Here we are at the National Air and Space Museum. So let's talk about that collaboration. Tell me more about that.
Well, Jorg and I have been talking for more than a year. He was looking for me, and it turns out I was looking for him to ask the same question, which was, don't you think that our organizations have a lot in common? Dedicated to bringing flight to everyone, and
I was looking for the Spirit of St. Louis, which is in the Smithsonian ever since 1928. And the Smithsonian was gracious enough. They gave us a millimeter perfect scan, which is what we'll feature in the 40th anniversary edition. But as Nick and I kept talking, it was very clear, you know, the world's foremost museum for air and space, the Smithsonian. Yeah. And Microsoft celebrating its 40th anniversary. It's a match made in heaven, and there's lots of things we can do.
Yeah, authenticity, accuracy, access, it's all there. We're
This is
hoping
awesome,
that if
man.
everyone has as much fun in the community with the content that we initially collaborated on, a couple of our most historic aircraft, and some of the other aircraft in this center are already in the simulator, maybe we can jump in with both feet and do more in the years to come. Maybe even, who knows, we'll go crazy. We'll put the space shuttle in there.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
All right,
Please
you guys
tell
have
me
never
they're
been
not
before.
kidding
This is
with
my
that.
first time. Right, so keep your eyes peeled, stick together, and Jorg, I've got something special for you right around here.
Perfect. Check this out. This is my favorite plane, the Junkers Ju-52 3-motor. Amazing.
Man, that is an awesome plane. And as I look at all these planes around here, it makes me ask the question, are you going to put all of them in Flight Sim?
Maybe not all of them, but we hope a lot of them. In the 40th anniversary that comes out this fall, we already have 3. We have the Wright Flyer, the Spirit of St. Louis, and the DC-3. And we hope to get a few more. As Nick and I were talking, there's a lot of things we could do.
Yeah, we started with the most iconic ones, and who knows? There's no lack of opportunity.
You know, I keep saying amazing because this place is amazing. And just like Flight Sim, it just keeps going. So what else is happening?
It does seem like we're going supersonic, like the Concorde here. We've been doing a major update ever since we launched, every month since August 2020. And just today, we're actually launching World Update 10. And guess what?
Tell me.
It's the United States. And it's huge. We have a dozen cities, a new height field, brand new aerials, new missions, new airports, new everythings. And as always, it's free. And check out this beauty. This is the Beechcraft Model 18. They call it the Twin Beech. It's a famous plane, and that's also launching today. And it's a great coincidence.
It's actually a huge coincidence. Jorg's been working on that Beechcraft since before we met, but it's a great example of how much we already had in common.
So Jorg, what can we expect the rest of the year from Flight Sim?
We have a ton of great things coming up. So today is World Update 10. We have 2 more World Updates, one in August and one in October. And then in November, we have the big 40th anniversary edition, which will be an absolute delight for anyone who loves aviation.
Okay, that 40th anniversary edition. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we're celebrating by bringing back some of the planes from the old sims, like from Flight Sim 10, 9, 8, even before that. And we're restoring some of the old missions, and we're bringing back some of the airports that were in those editions. So it's a real celebration of the franchise.
So this celebration is not only of the franchise, but the past as well.
And we're also adding brand new things on top of it, like that the community really wanted. For example, helicopters. Sobo wrote a brand new fluid dynamic system to make all that work. And then we're adding gliders, which is a completely different way to experience the planet. It's just you and the wind. Right. And then the last one is we're bringing, it's the biggest deal for simmers, a brand new real-to-life airliner, the A310 from Airbus, by a brand new partner called IniBuilds, a great development team. In fact, of the 10 planes we're bringing, most of them are created in collaboration with third parties. So it's a really cool way for us to integrate with the creator community.
Now, how do I get this?
If you're on Game Pass, if you already own Flight Sim, the 40th anniversary edition is a free upgrade.
This has just been an incredible experience, seeing all these planes and going through the history and everything that's come in the Flight Simulator. I mean, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to DC. Paris, thank you, Nick, for the great collaboration with the Smithsonian and for kicking off the 40th anniversary edition of Flight Sim. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That is awesome. I can't wait for the US update.
Today was a good day, but now I have a need for speed. I'm headed to the danger zone, baby.
Estamos aquí para disfrutar del mejor día de mi vida, el día de la Xbox, que estoy muy emocionado.
I came in Madrid just yesterday to be here in FanFest Xbox, and I'm so excited.
Estamos aquí en Madrid para ver nuevos juegos como Starfield, que yo personalmente le tengo muchísimas ganas.
Me ha encantado y no me lo podía perder, este es un evento único.
Why gaming? Just a passion.
Son experiencias únicas. Me ofrecen algo que no encuentro en otro lado.
Lo que te digo, es como una familia para mí.
Me ha parecido genial y un cierre para un evento así maravilloso.
Just the passion that people have. I feel very welcome.
High on Life. This was a funny.
Hey, we're just a snippet of Squanch Games, and we're here to talk about High on Life, our new action, adventure, comedy, Metroidvania, first-person shooter that is nothing at all, a little bit like Microsoft Excel.
All right, you're a bounty hunter now. You gotta help me rescue my friends. They're Gatlians, just like me.
That's our game, High on Life. Pretty insane. There's a lot to talk about.
Let's dive in. So Justin, you're typically known for working in animation. What brings you into the world of games? Why are you in the world of games?
Yeah. I'm obsessed with games, have been my whole life. Always had ideas, always had, things I would love to make, but just never thought I could ever step into that arena because I lack all the skills needed.
You don't know how games work.
Other than like creative direction, creative ideas, like other than that, I lack all the skills to execute.
But that's why, that's part of why you want to start Squanch, right? Is to be able to have an idea like that and let it grow to something amazing.
And to be able to be creatively free. I wanted to make games that I wanted to play. And that was sort of the spark that just lit the fire of Squanch Games. And then we shipped Trover and we shipped Accounting Plus, and now we're on this absolutely dream game. This is like our real legit swing at like a proper, we're indie, but this is like our AAA, or is it triple I for indie?
Yeah. We're triple I.
Yeah. This is a triple I game.
So the story of our game mostly follows Earth being invaded by this evil criminal cartel of aliens who come in and kidnap humans and start selling them on the black market like they're drugs. And you're the one human who has to team up with a talking gun and stop them.
And when you select a cartel leader that you're gonna go after, it opens the portal door to that world that they're in.
Eric, can you tell us a little bit about the worlds of the game, the art style of the game, the visuals?
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time kind of constructing and creating these awesome alien worlds. Myself and Mikey Spano, who is our art director, him and I worked a ton on the sort of art direction of the game. He really kind of landed in this space, which was kind of Blade Runner meets the Muppets. So we're trying to capture that feeling with all of our characters, and especially our aliens. And then each world is its own kind of unique flavor, right? I think some of the ideas came from very kind of core thoughts. We were we want to have an awesome alien, drug-dense spa on an asteroid. And what makes me really excited is the sort of really clear and it's almost deceivingly simple narrative, right?
Save the Earth, humans or drugs, talking guns. Ta-da.
So Alec, who are the guns? What's their deal?
The guns are these talking alien Gatlians. They're all shaped somewhat like a gun you'd find on Earth, but they've evolved to be just gun-like in their own way. And so this race of Gatlians each has their own unique personality, their unique set of abilities, and you're going to be rescuing them from this evil alien cartel, and together, you got to stop the bad guys.
And get more Gatlians.
Yeah, collect more Gatlians.
Yeah, a lot of players are going to have very different experiences depending on what gun they favor.
Yeah, you kind of pick your favorite companion to have out a lot and hear their dialogue, be part of different dialogue scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
Look at us, blasting away!
And sometimes you can unlock the guns in a different order than another player has. So
That's
when you
right.
go back through a level, you'll see things that you would have been able to access if you'd done it in the other order.
That's
and you can come back.
That's a huge one.
All right, so we've talked about this crazy good game that sounds amazing. Why should people be excited to play it?
As a studio, we are attempting to bring A-level adult comedy into video games.
Something I love about Squanch is we would put a lot of effort into things that a lot of other studios wouldn't even bother with, like a single small joke that 5 players might find.
Well, okay, now I can.
I love that stuff. I love like edge casing and like
It's what makes you remember a game.
Yeah, like if a player's trying to break the game in a certain way and then you have an answer for that for them, that is like such a memorable and amazing moment. It's almost like watching TV, but the viewer is able to reach into the TV and poke a thing, and the character has to respond to that. And there's so much fun to be had for the
You can
most
skip
part.
it all. We worked really hard on it if you want to skip it.
Yeah, if you want to just like miss out on like, you know,
Yeah,
some
if you're
of
like
the
a big
coolest...
dummy and you don't want to play the game at all, that's fine. We're not going to judge you. We're just going to be upset.
October.
This is gonna be fun.
The heck is this? Is this like Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Yep. A multiplayer horror-based game. Let's go. Okay. Play it day one with Game Pass. I don't remember what Pentiment is.
Pentiment is a narrative adventure game set in 16th century Bavaria, which
Oh,
is
yeah,
part of the
dude.
Holy Roman Empire. You play a character named Andreas Mahler, who is an artist working at a Benedictine abbey. He gets involved in a series of murders and scandals and tries to unravel them over a period of about 25 years. The name Pentiment, it is specifically referring to paintings in which there's an older painting underneath the painting that you see on the top. And if you scrape away the top layer, you see what was left behind. This has a bunch of significance. Obviously, you're playing a painter, but also it has a lot of significance to the idea of history kind of being covered and uncovered over time. When I saw narrative-driven games with really distinctive art styles, I was inspired to make a historical game that focused on the unique art style of the early modern period that was really driven by the relationships between characters and the stories that played out over time. Hannah Kennedy was really integral to defining the art style of Pentiment, especially blending the late medieval illuminated manuscripts with the early modern woodcuts.
Yeah, so there's a lot of major points to solve and kind of marry between wanting this to be a true to the history, true to the feel of the source material that we were referencing as far as the narrative, but also thinking about the types of games that were like what we imagined we wanted as far as a gameplay experience.
This is nice.
From the beginning, I knew that I wanted to portray a community that changed over time, which meant that characters are changing over time. That's really the focus of everything. The buildings do change, but really it's the characters where you see all the crazy stuff happen.
Kids that I had become attached to because it's a 4-year-old and we designed them to be a 4-year-old and then they're getting married, and then I felt a weird like emotional reaction to that because I'm like, oh baby's all grown up.
I think the 16th century has always been really interesting to me because it was a time of such social upheaval in Europe. I think when we look at social change in the past, it seems like it's a thing that always happens outside of our time. But right now, I think we're maybe more aware than ever that social change is happening constantly, and people are always struggling with it. It's always a difficult process. And so I hope that by looking at people from the past, we can see that even though the setting might be different and the specific issues might be different, ultimately we always struggle with social change.
Just putting on this bandana.
All right, let's do crime.
Such a bad idea.
All you had to do was keep your mouth shut.
I'm gonna override this.
Is your life mission to cause harm?
Yeah. This is my favorite shot of the whole game, this one.
With As Dusk Falls, what we're trying to do is to make a brilliant interactive experience for anyone who loves brilliant storytelling. So people who enjoy films, people who enjoy TV series. It's also a social experience and about sharing these stories with the people you love.
I think we should stick to the plan.
Yeah, stick to the plan.
I took my inspiration from TV shows, prestige shows like, Breaking Bad, Fargo. I really love Dog Day Afternoon. It's such a wonderful setup.
You try that again, and every last one of them leaves in a body bag.
When you write for
I'm gonna
interactive
play
stories, it's all
this.
about the stakes. You want big choices, the tentpole ones that everyone will remember from the chapter they played, but also
I didn't
you
think
weave
I
in the
was,
smaller
but I am
stakes,
gonna play
the
this
drama
game.
bit, like the relationships. Are you gonna stay married?
When you lost your job, this wall went up. And I missed you, okay?
The game deals with very mature themes that you don't normally find in a video game. It really gives you agency over characters that are relatable, that are familiar to you. It's like an interactive story, but with the power of video game behind it.
I only gotta yell and my brothers will come. Now hold your horses, young man. I think you should at least listen to what I have to say.
In the first book, it's mainly structured around a hostage situation in a motel in the middle of the desert in Arizona, so it's a pressure cooker.
You want your wife to live? Answer and do exactly what I say.
Book 2 takes another approach entirely, and it's a chase across multiple states in the US.
There's nowhere else to run.
As Dusk Falls is an interactive show, but the important part here is the word interactive. The players are very much needed to help the character on their journey and decide what's going to happen to them, help them grow and change.
It's not like there's one golden path. There's so many different ways through the story.
You can replay it and then you get to like different story and different ending, and you feel like you're actually achieving something and shaping the story and also the character.
Some of your true self comes out into that thinking.
I don't know, what would you do? I'll try to, yeah.
And at the end of the game, when you play, we tell you about your playstyle, and it reveals something about the player themselves, their values, and the way they interact with the others that they played with.
I think for me, one of the really important things was that this art style could tell lots of different types of stories. We want to take really beautiful, sort of subtle facial performances, really strong dramatic moments, and just really represent that such that every frame is a painting.
It's a single player and multiplayer experience, so 1 to 8 players.
Because we wanted to draw in people who weren't necessarily gamers. Gamers are going to love this game as well because it's a very mature, in-depth story. But this game really taps into your life skills rather than your gamer skills, puts everyone on a level playing field.
You did well there, that is a ferocious job.
Oh,
We
chow,
did it.
You share the same character, you discuss, you make decisions, and majority wins. It's like each player is like a voice in the character head.
Are you taking the money this time?
I am definitely not.
Take the cash. It's been a massive journey, and I can't believe we're just like so close, touching distance to this game. Yeah, I'm gonna miss it when it's done.
Let's check out what mysteries, adventures, and, of course, slimes are waiting for us in the new vibrant world of Slime Rancher 2.
This game looks so cool too. Slime Rancher. Game's just like a chill, like, just hang out, you know? That's awesome.
All right, time to get going. First trip in a while. Put this in here. Australia.
Larry Herb.
Passport.
I love Larry Herb.
Passport. All right. Where's my Uber? All right, let's go. Let's go.
Welcome back to Melbourne. It is so great to be here in person. Get ready for the showcase.
Melvin with FanFest.
That's cool. Alright, here's what I've been wanting to see.
We are so excited to tell you all about Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels, the first expansion for Forza Horizon 5. So Mike, let's start with why the team decided to bring Hot Wheels to Forza Horizon 5's Mexico.
Our fans have been telling us for years about how much they loved Forza Horizon 3's Hot Wheels expansion. So we've been waiting for the right time to bring everyone another Hot Wheels adventure. Forza Horizon 5 presented the perfect opportunity to bring Hot Wheels to life like never before with the power of the Xbox Series X and S.
It really does sound like the perfect time for Forza Horizon and Hot Wheels, so I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what to expect being in the clouds of Mexico this time.
Yes, you travel to the clouds above Mexico to visit the Hot Wheels Park, which is comprised of over 200 kilometers of the fastest, most extreme tracks yet. Once there, you'll join the Hot Wheels Academy and set out to take on Forza Horizon's most extreme racing yet and prove yourself a Hot Wheels legend.
Let's go.
As well as the iconic orange Hot Wheels track, you'll take on new driving experiences across gravity-defying magnet tracks, as well as ice, water flume, and rumble tracks.
So we spoke loads about biomes in the build-up to Forza Horizon 5's launch. Are we expecting something similar in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as well?
Yes, so we're truly going to see the power of the Xbox Series X and S when we look at Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels' all-new biomes. The amount of detail and diversity that we can pack into the 4 new biomes is breathtaking. We have the rugged Giants Canyon, where you'll hear the growl of your engine bouncing back off the intricately detailed rock formations. The Ice Cauldron, where frozen tundra drips into the glistening molten lava. In Forest Falls, you'll see a tree canopy towering over epic waterfalls. And finally, the visually stunning and exhilarating Horizon Nexus, where the Horizon Festival is suspended among a web of Hot Wheels tracks. And there's more, because new players can jump into Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels as early as possible during the main game's initial experience.
And how are people going to be able to use Event Lab in Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels?
So in Event Lab, you'll have the freedom to design, build, and share using the new Hot Wheels Creation Kit. That's over 80 new track and stunt pieces that instantly snap together thanks to our new building tools. You can then share your creations with the entire community for players to discover and play. We are anticipating our community building an ever-evolving catalogue of new player-created Hot Wheels events that everyone will enjoy.
They all sound absolutely incredible, Mike, but I'm going to ask you the most important question in the room. Can you tell me a bit more about the cars?
Yes, so we have 10 new amazing cars coming to the pack, including 4 new Hot Wheels cars, which have been scaled up to real-life proportions. We have the Diora 2, the Bad to the Blade, the Baja Bone Shaker, and the Chevrolet Hot Wheels Copo Camaro. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels introduces the most extreme tracks we've seen yet in Forza. So we've added some new extreme track toys and hypercars to go with them.
That's fat.
I want to call out the Hennessy Venom F5 and the Mosler MT900 GT3. Their speed is unlike anything we've seen before.
So we know Forza Horizon 5 fans naturally love co-op, so how is that continuing in Hot Wheels?
So in a first for Forza, you can join up with your friends and play from the very start of the experience in co-op. You and your friends will then take on a new campaign, moving your way up through faster and faster car classes until you unlock the extreme speed of X-Class and become a Hot Wheels legend. You can also choose to take on the world in Horizon Open or team up with your friends to take on a team of Drivatars in the Horizon Tour.
Ooh, I absolutely love that. Final question now though, when can we expect to play?
Yes, so Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels releases on July 19th on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Windows PC and Steam.
Mike, thank you so much for joining me. This has been so much fun and I cannot wait to play.
Oh, guys. I can't wait for this game to come to console. I want to play Fall Guys. Halo? Halo is coming to Fall Guys? Yeah. Or the Master Chief? Yes.
Now, onto our next block, pun intended of course. Minecraft Legends is the action strategy take on the franchise you never knew you needed. I'm here with Dennis Rees from Mojang Studios, who has just released the world premiere trailer of Minecraft Legends. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Malik.
So happy to have you. I mean, this is a really exciting time for the team. Let's talk Minecraft as a whole, though. That game, I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like everyone on the planet's played Minecraft at this point. But that wasn't enough for you all. You all went and made Minecraft Dungeons, and now we're moving on to the recently revealed Minecraft Legends. So one, tell me a little bit about what it means for the team to actually be able to reveal the game, and then two, just let us know what Minecraft Legends is.
Well, we are so excited to finally be able to talk about this game with the world. We've been working on this game for some time now. Minecraft Legends is an action strategy game is set in the Minecraft universe. And in order to build this, we really wanted to partner with a great company that understands strategy games. And so that's when we reached out with Blackbird Interactive. And in doing so, we were able to create an experience that is welcoming for people who may have not played Minecraft, but also people who have. And I mean, you've seen the trailer. It's about going and traveling through these beautiful biomes, exploring this world that is familiar yet still mysterious. And so as you explore these lush biomes, you collect resources, and then you use those resources to build defenses from these dangerous but very cute piglins. And in those defensive, you're able to fight them back and send them back to where they come from. And you know what? You're going to probably want to build some alliances with some unexpected friends because they're going to help you actually defeat the piglins and send them back to where they come from.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, and I love what you said about trying to make a game that's both for fans of Minecraft that exist and new fans coming in. Minecraft can go in so many different directions, I feel like, with a new game. What made you choose action strategy?
Well, really, it was many years ago, as a group of folks at Mojang sitting around talking about what game genres they really enjoy. And action and strategy were the most popular ones that came up. And so we started to think about who we could partner with to build that experience. And that's where we came into Blackbird Interactive. And that was back in 2018. And, the project was codenamed Badger. And an interesting little fact for many of those people that might follow Minecraft, if you go back to Minecon 2018 and you look at the shirt that Jens Berenstain was wearing, you'll see a graphic on there, and it's in the shape of a badger head. And really, that was meant to be an Easter egg for years forward, which here we are now.
I gotta say, I love a good Easter egg. Now, where would you say that Minecraft Legends fits in the overall Minecraft universe?
Well, the Minecraft universe is just always growing and expanding. And if it's not from our partner communities, then it's from Mojang specifically. Like you mentioned, Minecraft Dungeons. That's a great example where Mojang went out and we built this dungeon crawler experience in the Minecraft universe, and players love it. It's wonderful. And with Minecraft Legends, we're trying to do something similar, really. And here we're going to be introducing a narratively driven campaign with a whole bunch of new characters and a lot of other things that I'm not ready to share right now.
Dennis, I thought we were friends. You can share it with me and everyone watching. No? Okay, I won't pry anymore. But tell us when the game is coming out and where we can keep up to date.
It's coming out in 2023 on PC and console on Xbox Game Pass. And if you want to know more, just follow us Twitter or jump on Minecraft.net.
Dennis, I'm so excited to jump into Minecraft Legends. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us the lowdown.
Thanks for having me.
Invest Toronto.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Kirsten, aka Kayvon Doom, and we're here at Xbox Fan Fest. We got a whole lot for y'all to check out, so let's get it in.
They asked me what year Halo came out, won this sweet jersey.
I couldn't believe when I was here on site that I would get to meet the real Master Chief.
Experience here, out of this world. It was really cool to see. I'm gonna go get my nails done because they have a nail station and these things need to be painted.
Redfall looks dynamite, and come on, Diablo 4. Oh, it's so. Why are you so gruesome? All bloody things. No, but it's great. I love it.
What a day we had today. Thank you everybody for showing up to Xbox Fan Fest Toronto. Had a lot of fun, saw a lot of games, great experiences overall. Catch you in the next one.
Here we come. Are you ready for more? It's that thing we got. Coming in real hot. We breaking down the ground, whether you ready or not.
A lot of cool stuff coming. Some stuff aren't my style, isn't my style, but I know other people who like it. Game developers are working hard.
I'm joined now by Sarah Bond, who leads the gaming ecosystem organization here at Xbox. Sarah, it's so great to have you.
It is awesome to be here and so good to see you too.
Yes, I'm super excited for this conversation because as we know, game creators are crucial to Xbox's success. And whenever you talk about them, it's with such like passion and tenacity. I love it. And it sounds super important to you and the rest of Team Xbox. So my question to you is, how do creators inspire the work that you and your team do?
The creators are just the bedrock of everything we do on my team. You know, when you really think about it, where gaming really comes from is it starts with someone who has a creative idea that they choose to put into a game that we all get to experience and enjoy. And that's really the bedrock of our industry, of what motivates us, is to help those people, those developers, bring their stories out. And we think about it in three ways. You know, how do we create a vibrant and engaging gamer community for them to come to through Xbox? What are the set of tools and services that we give them that make it easier and faster and more affordable for them to make a game? And how do we create a range of business models that they can use? Because a business model really enables them to perform all sorts of different types of innovation.
Yeah, business models, tools, resources, all these provide choices, and it's increasing these choices for not only the developers, but the players themselves as well.
Yeah.
For example, you and your team just announced a new feature that's going to bring game demos to players. Can you tell us a little bit more about Project Moorcroft?
Project Moorcroft. I know. I
Ooh.
love these project names. I wish they would just let me name it, but
Yeah,
they
just
won't.
say it.
I know.
You
They
know,
won't.
Can we change that?
Well, look, we were sitting around as a team and we were thinking about some of the things that we've always loved the most about the gaming industry. And one of them was, remember when you would go to like a show like PAX or E3, and you would go to the show floor and you get to play a demo or a piece of a game, and the developer would be right there next to you, talking to you about their experience, asking you to try things out, asking you your feedback. And that was one of the things I loved the most about those experiences. We just don't have them as much anymore, you know, in the way that the world has evolved. And so we thought, gosh, how can we make Game Pass like that? Like, how can we use the power of Game Pass and all of the great discovery and player engagement that is in it and have it create for creators that opportunity to engage with fans early as they're creating their game, and also for players to get to experience something that they're really anticipating. And so that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to have a program that enables developers to take a piece, a level of their game, and put it into Game Pass so that they can get that great feedback and players can engage with them. And we know it's a lot of work sometimes for developers to do that, so we're also going to compensate them for their participation in the program. I'm so excited for what's going to come when we launch that.
I think the one thing that we all miss is that connection, right? And now that we are able to come back into conferences and stuff like that, we still need to deepen it because
Yeah.
by deepening that connection, you're diversifying the voices, and then that in return helps to diversify the games and bring diversity into games.
Completely.
So how will Microsoft help to further that front?
Yeah, we think about it all the time, frankly, as Microsoft, as Xbox, in my team in particular, because creators is core to everything we do. You know, if you think about a game, it enables you to experience a perspective, a point of view, in a way that is deep and immersive, unlike any other form of media. So the importance of everyone having an equal opportunity to share their story and their perspective through a game, and what it means to shaping our perceptions, to what we talk about, to what we believe, to broadening our perspectives, is critical. And we think about that all the time. So what we've done as a team is we're continuing to expand the set of developers who we're engaging with and bringing them into the Xbox ecosystem. We've actually more than doubled the number of developers that are making games for Xbox, and we saw lots of those games in the last day, which has been pretty cool. And the other thing that we did this year is for the first time ever, we actually have a presence in Africa. We have our first Xbox employee in Africa, specifically dedicated to working with creators in the region.
So what message would you like to leave for creators who are interested in starting in the industry?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. People say to me, gosh, I would really like to be part of the gaming industry. I'd love to make a game. How do I break through? How do I get involved? And I say, first of all, network. Talk to people, meet people, connect with people, just how you and I connected actually at an industry event, which we met at, which was super fun. You know, build that network and that connectivity because it's so critical in every industry, but I think particularly in gaming, right? You know, go to industry conferences like GDC, meet people, learn, try that out. And if you're interested in making a game for Xbox, you can actually go to github.com. You can actually download the Xbox Game Developer Kit and get started. And once you have a game concept, you can also submit it online through id@xbox.com, and then you can self-publish to Xbox, which is another great way. And of course, if you actually want to get involved in the industry, all companies are great, but I highly recommend you check out coming to work at Xbox. I'm biased, obviously.
I mean, hey, you have every right to be so. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today. And also, thank you to all the viewers for tuning into Extended. We've heard from so many amazing developers on today's show. Now, before we finish, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
We were talking earlier about the importance of people being able to tell their story through a game and how incredibly powerful it is. I mean, when we were talking about that, I was thinking about an experience we've had as a team that's been very touching for me. So, you know, a couple years ago, we started really consciously extending the depth and breadth of content that we have in the Xbox ecosystem. And it was through that that I got to know the team making Stalker 2 really well. And I actually got to intro that game last year in the Xbox Game Showcase, and it was just incredible. And you know, the thing was, when I was looking at that game last year, and I was looking at the story that they were telling, and they were talking about the beauty of the land and their dedication to their culture and their country, and I thought, wow, this is a cool game. This is a compelling story. But sitting here today, you know, recognizing that that team is Ukrainian, they were based in Kiev, looking at that story and what they were showing to the world just feels entirely different and far more poignant and visceral to me. You know, this is a team who's talking about their culture, talking about fighting for the existence of being a nation, of being a people, of having their own language. And now we all, as a world, have gotten to see how tenuous that, in fact, is. And it's an honor, frankly, to be part of this industry and to have the opportunity to uplift their voices and to let their story be told through a gaming experience, especially knowing what we know now about the situation in Ukraine. And as part of that, they actually shared with us something that they wanted us to share with all of you today as part of the show.
Есть.
Whoa.
Здесь кипела работа, идеи, она не останавливалась. 3 месяца назад началась война России с Украиной.
Шок от робочий день починається з тривоги.
Під час сильних обстрілів ми біжимо в укриття.
Це переноска для мого кота, який загинув ще в перший тиждень війни. Виходиш вечором, сирена, виходиш днем, сирена. Днем еще работать надо, поэтому особо не выйдешь, а вечером все время вот так.
Це моє робоче місце.
Вже 3-й місяць я живу і працюю в коридорі. Зі мною живе одноокий пес, врятований з-під обстрілу в Гостомелі. Зараз мені важко писати квести про війну, коли вона йде навколо.
Так работает в перерывах между сиренами і волонтерськими задачами.
Світ ще побачить, наскільки в нас класна культура, і в тому числі, наскільки класні ігри ми можемо робити.
Меня зовут Александр. Я являюсь сотрудником компании ЖСК. Я с Мариуполя. С начала боевых действий была потеряна связь с моими родными и близкими. И это непередаваемое, ужасное чувство, когда ты не знаешь, живы они или нет.
Я Дмитро Ясенєв, розробник Сталкера. Ніколи не міг уявити, що в 21 столітті в центрі Європи може статися повномасштабна війна.
Я Олексій Іванов, ком'юніті-менеджер проекту Stalker 2. Зі зброєю в руках захищаю свою країну від російської агресії.
Привіт, я Макс, наративний дизайнер гри Stalker 2. Після перемоги я до неї повернуся. Побачимось на релізі. Слава Україні!
Last question, Dr. Dallin. Are you sure the perimeter surrounding the zone is really enough? If a powerful emission were to occur, we would...
Listen, the zone has remained stable for years. Besides, we didn't establish the most advanced institution in human history without first guaranteeing its safety. As the head of the Scientific Institute for Research of the
This game
Chernobyl
looks
area,
good.
or CERCA for short, I believe the wonders that we will bring to the world
It's in
are
Unreal
the
Engine
potential
5,
risks.
so
How
I
big are
expect it
these
to look
risks
good.
exactly?
Because Unreal Engine 5,
The zone reveals
the developer kit and what they're able to do with that engine is awesome.
Do you want our descendants to remember us as cowards? Or as those who dared to venture forward to a new, better humanity?
The injured were evacuated. I remind our listeners that a similar incident happened in our region quite recently, ruining homes and livelihoods. However, city officials urge people to stay calm, assuring them the situation is totally under control.
That guy carrying a nuclear bomb? Alright guys, that's where we're gonna end this one. We've covered a lot of content today. Let me know what you think, and you can let me know. You can send me a message, send me a whisper on Twitch. Let me know what you think. When it goes live on YouTube, you can leave comments in the comment section down there. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you guys later. God bless you. Have a good one. Bye, guys.